Daytime IPA.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got a bottle of Lagunitas Daytime IPA. This is supposedly a session IPA. It's 4%, so draw to your own conclusions what you will on that. Is it a session IPA? Well, 4%, I'd say it is. Some people say it wouldn't be. Anything over 3.5% to them is not a session beer, but I digress. This is from the Lagunitas Brewery from Chicago in the good old US of A. I tried their original IPA and I was pleasantly surprised by it. So when I saw this, I thought I'm going to have to pick up a bottle and see what's going on with this. This is a low calorie beer, or a light beer, as you like, or as they like. This is a light beer, as they are quite popular in the United States. You know, you have Coors Light, Miller's Light. I'm not saying Miller Light, not Miller's Light. I'm not saying this is of the same ilk, but it's got reduced calories in it, and it's a session IPA. They've done a special brewing process I was reading up about that has reduced the calorie count in this. Probably something to do with the malt. I'm not sure, but it seems quite interesting. Let's see what's on the back. A load of gumph that I can't read, but it is, as I say, 4%, 355ml bottle, so just over half a pint on there. The beer in your hand has achieved what we all hope for ourselves. Has it won the lottery? Because I want to win the fucking lottery, so I ain't got to go work no more. The beer in your hand has achieved what we all hope for ourselves, to be made new again. I don't want to be made new. There is a freedom in burning down the house. Yeah, of course there is. They don't have to write some shit on these. There is a freedom in burning down the house of expectations, and it confers an undeniable lightness to being. We don't invent these truths, they invented us. What a load of fucking nonsense. Beers speak, people mumble. What are you talking about? Oh, well, that's just me. I don't get all this spiel on these new craft beer bottles. I don't get it. It's just fucking nonsense. Why not write something that means something? As I say, this is from Chicago. They're also based in California as well, and they're very naughty boys because marijuana was legal in California, and they used to make it and they used to sell it. They also done it in Chicago, where it's illegal, and they got busted by the FBI. So they're naughty boys, and I like them for that, because they're sticking it to the man, as they say. Here's the cap. Cool. You can smell that from here. I'll get onto that in a minute, because I was reading up about that as well. Here's the cap. It's their anything with a picture of a dog is all right by me. Into the collection. Now, as I was just talking there, I was getting a waft of pine and some sweetness. And if some people who taste beer, they like to waft the beer underneath their nose like that and not sort of go straight on, but yeah, I can get that. Yeah, it's very fruity, a lot of pineapple. I'm getting some pine from the hops on that, some grassy sort of pine notes, which is very pleasant. but it smells like they've really hopped this. I wouldn't surprise me if they've dry hopped this as well. This is cold as well, so it's come out of the fridge and it is freezing cold. Wow, look at the colour on that. Look at the colour. It's slightly hazy, but it is really light. That is like a... Honestly, if you've ever seen Budweiser in a glass, this is like a slightly hazy version of that, but it is so light. Lighter than a lager, if you can imagine that. This looks very yellow in this light, but it's not. I haven't really got anything. I've got an old logbook here. Will that make any difference? No, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Anyway, trust me, this is very light. Oh, hang on, I've got a bag down here. I've got a bag down here. I'll put it behind this bag. You can see that. That is so clear. Yeah. I don't know where I got that bag from. Let's see what's getting on the nose. Oh yeah, more of them grassy, pine, citrusy, slightly fruity notes on this. This, I imagine, is going to be really bitter. This is going to be a West Coast in every sense of the word. So let's get it down the hatch. Cheers. Oh, and that is surprising, because I thought this was going to be really dry, really hoppy, a real West Coast, extreme West Coast from them hops that were coming through. But it's not bad. There's a lot of fruit in there. Yeah, that's slightly misleading. The aroma is misleading. There's a lot of fruit in this, like sort of tropical fruit, like mango, pineapple, grapefruit. And there's no real bitter aftertaste, which I would have expected. You know, that you get that with them West Coast IPAs, where you take a mouthful and then on the back end you just get all the bitterness from the hops coming through. You don't get that on this. You get a very, and this is cold, remember, so I've probably subdued quite a bit of the flavour, but it's very pleasant. I will give it that. Really good, really flavoursome as well. Yeah, I like this. Lagunitas are very good at what they do. Their other IPA, the normal IPA, I think that's a 5.5 or 5.9% or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I really wasn't expecting much from that, because I see it everywhere, and I thought, oh, this is just going to be one of them macro brewed abominations. But I'll tell you something, it really impressed me, and I take everything back that I said about them in that review, in the first half of that review, because, well, I know I was rubbish in that, where it says beers, people mumble, beers talk. That's pretty apt. So again, I'm slagging Lagunitas off, and they're proving me wrong. Maybe I should just shut up and drink the beer. Anyway, yeah, this is great. It's got a lot of flavour. It's got a lot of hoppy flavours to it. Like you got the citrus, but you've also got like a pine and a woody sort of flavour to it as well. If you can imagine that, like a woody type flavour. But it works, and the fruit in this is just great. You know, sweet mango, pineapple, grapefruit, giving it a little sort of bitterness on there. But it just still works. I'm not getting much malt on there, which I'd expect, because they said they reduced the calories. So obviously the malt would be less, which would again account for the low alcohol in there. Not sure what the yeast is, probably California ale yeast, and it just works. I like it. Yeah, I like that. This is going to get a 9 out of 10. Really recommend this. This is great. Fantastic. And remember, beer is working class champagne.